This is an instruction video for the bird dog exercise. We like the bird dog exercise. It gives you better sense of proprioception in your low back, so a better sense of where your low back is in space as you train this. And it helps build your core endurance and really just your endurance to stabilize your shoulder, your core, your hips. It's a really good exercise, full body proprioception and stability training. So let's go over how we want you to do it. This is the position we want you to start in. So we want shoulders right over the wrists, and we want hips right over the knees. And we want you to have a fairly straight line kind of from the glutes to the shoulders to the back of the head. And the head should be neutral, so you don't want your head looking up or really tucked in with your chin tucked in towards your chest. So you want to keep that neck in a good position. Now, when you first get going, if you're having a hard time telling if your back is straight in a nice neutral position, then the best thing you can do is kind of do like a cat camel. So you'll see me here dip the low back down, arc it back up, and then kind of wiggle your way right into the neutral position. And then next, you want to, before you move, you want to place your shoulders in the best position. So really all you have to think about is trying to push your shoulders away from the floor. So, or you could say you're trying to push the floor away from you, whichever one works better for you. So you'll see here, watch that. You see how the shoulders kind of push away from the floor. So that's how you want to start and get in the right position so your shoulders have the best stability. Now, from here, when you're first starting, you can just push the arm forward. But if you feel uncomfortable, or once you feel comfortable with just pushing the arm forward, so just like that, that's kind of how you begin. And if you feel comfortable, go ahead and do the leg as well. So with the typical bird dog, you're going to punch straight out, you're going to kick straight back, you're going to hold for 10 seconds. So on this one, let's pause this one. And again, what we want to see is a fairly straight line from the shoulders to the foot or the ankle, okay? So you definitely don't want your foot to be above the hips. And then you want that back to stay in its nice neutral position as you punch out and kick out. And you want it to try to keep that position as you come back in. When we have you do it, we're going to want you to hold for 10 seconds, and then you can come back in. And another thing you can do, you'll see that I just changed on this side over here on this hand. I did have my palm flat, but if that bothers your wrist, something you can do is ball your hand up so that you are resting on a balled up fist, and that might feel a little bit better on your wrist. So we'll watch the bird dog one more time, kicking straight out, leg kick straight back. Everything stays pretty neutral, and the back stays in this nice neutral position the whole time. So now let's look at some ways that you can do this incorrectly that we don't want you to do. So you'll see, let's back this up here just a little bit. So what I want you to see here is that this is if we don't create good stability through the shoulder. So if I don't push the floor away from me, then it's more likely that I'm just going to collapse into a really poor position. Then it's hard for me to control the movement. So let's watch that here again. So I'm not pushing the floor away from me. I don't have good stability from the shoulder. And then I'm going to feel really unsteady. Okay, so that's one thing that you can look out for, that you want to make sure that we avoid. And so then here, we're kicking up, and you'll notice that, so here's my hip line. And if I go straight out here, my foot is above that hip line. That's a no-no. We don't want that, because then what's going to happen is your back is going to overextend. It's going to arch a little bit too much. Okay, so we want to avoid that position as well. Okay, so then another common issue that we'll see is that on this one, you'll see that this hip just came up a lot higher. Okay, so it rotated up, and so you'll notice that there is no longer a flat line across the hips. Now that left hip is way higher than the right hip. So that's another common mistake that we'll see, and that leads to a really hard time stabilizing and holding the nice straight position that we want to be in. Okay, another issue is if you raise that head up. You'll notice that when I raise my head up, I have a multitude of issues. So my head is up. I'm trying to look straight ahead rather than just looking down. Now my back is overarched, and my foot, again, over my hip line. Definitely no. Okay, and that'll just put your back in a bad position and it won't be fulfilling what we want from this exercise. Okay. And then another issue is here, and this one, let's back that up again a little bit. What I'm doing here is I'm just not squeezing my glutes. I'm not creating good tension from the hips. And so you'll notice that once I get in this position, let's keep backing up a little further. Yeah, I'll start right there. So once I get in the position, I kind of wobble. I don't look very steady and my leg moves quite a lot. That's because my glute is not firing and not stabilizing. I want to look at one more. I just went back to the beginning here, but let's go back to where we just were. There's one more thing I want you to notice here. So when I wasn't stabilizing my glute very well and holding steady, I also don't hold my core and brace my core very well when I'm letting it back in. So let's watch that again. So as I let it back in, you'll notice, let's slow it down. You notice that my back loses its nice neutral position. You can watch my lower back right here. You can watch the curves in my t-shirt. They're going to change quite a lot as I come back in, boom, I lose that neutral position and my back kind of flexes and moves. So those are all the things that we want to avoid with the bird dog. What we're really trying to do is hold steady, hold a nice straight line throughout the movement from the shoulders and the head all the way down through the hips and to the foot. So in order to do that, you're going to brace the core, push the floor away from you with the shoulders, kick back and really squeeze the glutes with your leg and your foot, hold for 10 seconds, and then maintain that tension through your shoulder and your core as you come back in, as you bring your hand and your knee back in towards the starting position. That is the bird dog exercise.